with your children? Have you noticed any inclination of bipolar in any of them? And what's your relationship like with them?
I don't see anything yet, and I hope not to see anything. My children all have the genetic predisposition, and I worry that the divorce with their mom might have snapped somebody into, triggered their DNA. But that doesn't seem like that's happened with any of them. I have a great relationship with my son Noah and my daughter Holly. I was just at a baseball game with my grandson, my daughter Holly's son, last night, and we had a great time. My son Noah lives in the Salt Lake City area now, but I just visited him with my girlfriend, and I went out and saw him not too long ago, back in December. I have a great relationship with him. I have a strained relationship with my other two children, and it's kind of a recent thing with my youngest son, and it's been going on for about 10 years with my oldest child.
Wow.
So it's really very little at this time, wants very little to do with me.
One thing I know for sure, relationships can heal. Sometimes it takes a while.
Relationships can heal and they can change.
Yeah, absolutely. Things can change, and they can change quickly, overnight.
All I can do is not do anything stupid. And,
well, I think we could all say that.
And honor their journey. That's what I teach everybody to do. And, their journey was hard, and I can't imagine. Well, I do know now that I realize my dad's bizarre behavior. I can trace that back to his bipolar. So I do know what it's like to have a dad who's completely off the rails, because my dad was quite a bit, just abruptly left. And so I get where my kids are coming from in that regard. I'm here for as long as I'm alive. All they have to do is let me know they're available, and I'll be at their doorstep in a minute.
So what's in your future? What are you working on to continue this crusade that you're on? Is there a book or something in your future, or something else you're going to be doing to really get your message out there?
Yeah, so with Bipolar Solutions, we advertise pretty heavily on Facebook. We really want to build tens of thousands of people on our email list, and we're building an audience in Australia and in the United Kingdom, as we also build an audience here in the United States. Our goal is to really get 1 million eyes on the material. I know that 30 million people have this illness throughout the world, so I really wanted to try to make an impact that way. Another way that we're building the audience and broadening my base is with a book. Last year, a couple of years ago, I found a company that writes a lot of New York Times best-selling books, ghostwrites them, and now I'm giving away my secret. But I hired this company, and they found me a writer who has written 2 New York Times bestsellers as a ghost, and she also happens to have bipolar disorder.
Wow.
My writer is gifted writer, award-winning writer, and she has this illness. So we've written enough of the book to call it a proposal to shop for a literary agent right now, and it looks like we have some interest.
Nice.
So my hope is that an agent will, a good agent will rep me and get me to a publisher. Publisher will, help me get the book completed, because there's still quite a big financial commitment to get it finished and get it out there. So I also then would take on speaking engagements anywhere I can to promote the book and the work. I don't really know where that would all lead, Jackie. I've met people in my life that might end up helping me that are celebrities and things like that you don't normally meet these people. And they don't normally say they'd like to help you. And I think, again, that higher power has, God in my world, has a plan for this. I'm excited about the book. It shares a message of hope. And we're going to follow it up with a workbook on how to get the life that Bob got, what Bob did. Kind of how, here's what Bob did, book 1. Book 2 is here's how we did it, and here's how you can do it too. So a book that's just going to kind of mirror the work that I do online and on video.
That's so amazing because obviously the doctors aren't getting information out there, right?
They're just too busy to do it, I think.
I think so, too. You know, they got to see as many as they can because that's how they make money anymore. They don't have time to really research things, and they listen to pharmaceutical companies who are saying this is what needs to be taken by your patient because when we see these kinds of things, this is done. And the doctors go, okay, because they just don't have time to really research that. And it is unfortunate. However, it is where we're at. But someone like you who lives with this and has seen both the very down side of it and can also see the light at the end of the tunnel and has made it to that light, it's going to be such a powerful message to share with so many people. And I really am amazed and full of gratitude for you to do this. So I think this is going to be a big deal for you.
It is an honor to be it and to share something that gives people, you know, some hope and direction, you know. And
well, I'm a firm believer in the idea that nothing happens by chance, right? And the fact that you've had this disorder has been a very challenging part of your life, and as you say, it has taken a lot of things from you. But perhaps all of that has been for the purpose of letting people know about this disorder, that you are that one voice that they will listen to. And so for all of the bad that's happened, perhaps the whole reason is because of the good that can come of it. And I do believe that firmly.
And I really feel very blessed by that because not everybody is going to have an opportunity where this awful illness is good for them, you know, has a good purpose. It doesn't. It doesn't have a good purpose for almost anybody. But for some reason, I guess the deal is God said, I'll make you better, but you owe me. You gotta help me with the rest of my children. And so I have to step up and do that every day. But I'm really honored, you know, and I really empathize for those who don't find a better purpose for this. Such an awful thing. For whatever reason, it just happened for me to be, like you said, I used to really be mad at my higher power, you know, curse God all the time for having this. And now I find myself thanking him, you know, for it. And it's because of the way I've been able to use it in my life. For the most part, if people can just survive this and maybe thrive, that's a huge win. I always say if you're taking your meds every day, you are a superstar, man. And you just got to keep doing that. That's a huge win to just survive. And it takes away a lot of work from people, careers from people, relationships from people. It just does. And I don't blame people for having that happen either. I mean, that happened to me. This illness is way bigger than anybody. I love it when things can work out for them and they can hold a job, they can hold a relationship, they can hold their children every day, you know. That's, I believe, doable with just about anybody with this illness. Now, there are some people that the meds just don't work, period, and they have to go through all kinds of hoops and other types of treatments. But I think if treatment can work for a person, then they can live well. I really do believe that.
So as we work toward a close of this podcast, and I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with me, my
pleasure.
What advice would you give to family members of someone with bipolar, or perhaps if there's someone listening today that has bipolar, what would you say to them?
Well, for the family members, it's about learning that this is an illness and treating it like an illness. We're kind of going a little bit off track when we start calling this a mental health condition. I don't have a health condition. I have an illness, and the illness is biological and chemical. There's just no two ways about it. It's not behavioral. It ends up with behavior, but it's not a behavioral thing. It's not anything I can will out of me. So I really encourage family members to get the education like I'm talking about, and it doesn't have to come from me. They can search the internet and they can find other sources, but they just get well educated about the fact that this is an illness and that they're not enabling their loved one when they allow things to happen. It just is what it is. the person does not have control over their illness. We really don't. And I know that not everybody likes to hear that, but that's just the truth about this illness. So I would really encourage family members to get well educated about this and to treat it like an illness. When there's bad behavior, see the bad behavior as their bipolar loved one, not their loved one.
Interesting.
See it, blame the bipolar, not their loved one.
Yeah.
And be angry at the bipolar, but not their loved one. And then for the individual, I can't say it often, more than I already say it. Treatment, and then treatment. Treatment works most of the time. And that might mean, like for me, treatment has been a regimen of medication every day, therapy every week. I've had more than 600 hours of therapy now. I'm not embarrassed to say that. And we're still just starting to break the ice on who I am after 600 hours.
Yeah.
And I've been through more than 60 med changes over the past 10 years. So for me, it's been an elusive target that I have to constantly be tweaking. For others, they might only need to do a med change very rarely. But either way, whatever treatment is for them, because it's also a very unique to each individual. It's not like insulin that works for everybody with diabetes. There's not one medication that works for everybody with bipolar, nor is there one combination that works. But just keep working at the treatment. See your psychiatrist once a month. Take your meds every day. Even when you feel great, take your meds and see a therapist. That's what I say to individuals all the time.
Wow. Well, hopefully they'll listen to you. Hopefully they will see the wisdom in what you are saying and listen to it. And Bob, thank you so much. You are destined to help so many people, so many family members, and so many people that actually have this disorder. And I know that you fit right in with the mission of my podcast. As I mentioned earlier, it was to speak with power, which you are doing and have been doing for so long, to feed others in word and deed, and your message is feeding them, as well as the wonderful work, the energy that you're spending making sure that you're reaching as many people as you can. And then the last part is to lead with a positive influence. And your positivity, your success story is going to influence a lot of people and hopefully lead them to answers, to lead them to right medications and regimens that will give them a happy, successful life. So thank you again for being with me, and it's been a delight to touch base with you after so many years, and hope that we will run into each other a little more often than we have in the past. And I'm going to keep my eye on what you're doing and keep my fingers crossed for that book deal that will come through soon.
Well, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, and I hope we can get together, you and your husband, who I love so much, and see you guys again sometime soon.
We'll have to definitely do that. All right. Okay. Well, thank you all for listening. This is Jackie Bailey signing off of Speak, Feed, Lead. Have a great day.